Welcome back to Oulton Park after the Bennetts BSB eBay qualifying session here ahead of the bike social sprint race later on this afternoon at the second round of the championship. First front row start for Storm Stacy and the Starline Kawasaki team. Storm, that was a really exciting session for everyone watching back home. I'm sure you guys had a slightly different perspective on that, but talk us through it and how good does it feel to be able to qualify on the front row?
Yeah, it feels mint. It's obviously something for us to work on in the race. To do well in BSB, you've got to be up the front and be battling with the right guys, and qualifying is always the hardest bit to do that. We're fortunate with conditions like this. I enjoy riding in stuff like this. It brings back a bit of old memories with flat track and motocross and all different kinds of stuff. And just the bike loose underneath me feels mint. I love it.
And looking ahead to the race, obviously you start on the front row. That gives you a good chance to get away with the lead group. If the conditions stay like they are, how difficult do you expect the race to be this afternoon?
If the conditions stay like wet/drying or wet, I think we'll be really good. And if it starts to dry, I think we're a bit optimistic. We've got a different engine at the minute and it's not quite performing how we want it to. So we're still trying to find a nice way of making it work. So if it's dry, we're just going to have to dig in and keep going.
Congratulations on the front row, Storm. Starting second on the grid for the bike social sprint race this afternoon for Rocket BMW Motorrad, it's Leon Haslam. Leon, at Silverstone it was a tough start. It was a race against time for you to even be there on the grid with how you wanted the bike to be, and you said coming into this round that it would be a little bit more on offer for you. Can you talk us through the changes that you've had between the first round and here and how difficult that qualifying session was?
Yeah, honestly, this weekend's not been ideal because we did receive some of the items that we've been looking for. But it's pretty much been a brand new bike for us coming into Oulton Park. We didn't actually get these items for the test either, so to miss yesterday afternoon with weather conditions and pretty much this morning was the same, and even the mixed qualifying, we've actually feel like we've only done about 6 laps with this current bike, but yeah, to be P2 is amazing. I felt like we should have gone with the full inters like Josh, but the boys are doing well. We're getting through session by session, and right now that's where we are.
And so looking ahead to the race this afternoon, obviously you had some solid results when we were at Silverstone. Do you think this is a circuit where perhaps you can move a bit forward and maybe make advantage of the situation with the conditions as they are?
Yeah, the full dry session in FP1 we was P3, but in all honesty I wasn't very happy, so I was very surprised of the result. I'm convinced that the other guys are going to make that next step, and I feel we've got a lot to look forward to, but until we actually go out there and try it, we're a little bit in the unknown.
When you say you weren't very happy, was there something particular that was a problem that you needed to work on?
Just general things, we've got a completely different engine configuration. We've got, we didn't even know where the gearing was. We've not really had a chance to play with the chassis. So coming to a circuit like Oulton Park, which is very, very different to Silverstone, yeah, we feel like we've just jumped on the bike for the first time. But, Spain testing on the old bike and Silverstone, I felt like we knew where it was at. We just need to find where this one is and we'll go from there.
Well, we can already see the potential already, so good luck for this afternoon, Leon. And taking the pole position for the second round of the Bennetts British Superbike Championship, the first of the season for FHO Racing BMW Motorrad, Josh Brookes. Josh, another one of those tricky sessions, but you always seem to thrive almost in those challenging conditions. You went out, you did a sighting lap and came straight back in to make the changes necessary to be able to fight for the pole position. And it did shuffle so much, especially in the last couple of minutes. Talk us through it.
Yeah, we'd planned to ride on full wet tyres, and there was an idea of maybe running intermediates, only if the conditions were suitable, obviously. And it wasn't a decision I was comfortable to make in the pit, so I said, let me go out and do a lap on and have a look at the track, and then I'll make a decision. And if I want to make a change, I'll come straight in and not waste any time to give the team a fair chance to get the changes made. So. Yeah, on the siding lap, I could see that it wasn't good enough for inters at that point in time, but I could see that the direction of the track was going to change, and for the and the inters would become the tyre to be on. So I made a decision to come in and swap. So then the initial laps on track on intermediate tyres was quite tricky. It's not difficult or nerve-wracking to ride the track, but to go quick enough to make pole position. You've got to really take a lot of risks. So I was consciously nervous about the risk taking, and it was a bit on edge, sort of riding it in those conditions like that. But it's kind of like riding on a balance beam. You kind of got the bit of track that's dry, and you've got to kind of keep your tyres on there. And at the speed you're going, it's suitable for the dry track. But if you were to just slightly move off onto the wet, it could be catastrophic. So yeah, just really pleased that it all worked out, and it worked out as we'd planned. So yeah, full credit to the FHO team for giving me this opportunity.
And we spoke after Silverstone. Obviously, had a great debut with the team at Silverstone. A completely different nature of track to here, so it must be positive for you to be able to be in this position so early in the weekend, despite the lack of track time, at a circuit that's so much different to where we were previously.
Yeah, that's right. Oulton Park is a really different circuit. It's so demanding on the bike and the tyres and the riders, and it really takes a specific setup that's going to work here is quite critical. So yeah, I feel like we've still got work to do. The dry weather lap times are still a little way off where the lap record is and where we know everyone can go. But the early Oulton Park isn't always the fastest one, and we're just going to keep working and improve the bike when we can. But for the moment, it feels competitive, so that's the important thing.
Congratulations on the pole position, Josh.
Thank you.